The presidential election was rocked Friday by news that FBI Director James Comey had sent a letter to congressional leaders announcing that he was reopening the investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server while Secretary of State, following the discovery of new emails. The decision comes amid a federal probe into Anthony Weiner, who is under investigation for allegedly sexting with a 15-year-old girl. The disgraced congressman is also the estranged husband of longtime Clinton aide Huma Abedin. Now, the emails in question were found on a laptop shared between Weiner and Abedin, though Comey said they do not know yet that the significance of the documents.
When Hillary Clinton boarded her plane bound for Iowa this morning, it seemed like a regular day on the campaign trail. But while we were in the air, that political bombshell breaking on the ground below.
We just got off the flight. There was no Wi-Fi on board all the way from New York to Iowa. No one had any idea what was happening while we were in the air. Secretary Clinton, any reaction to Director Comey reopening his investigation into your emails?
It's also a damn if you do, damn if you don't situation for Comey, because had he not come out now, he would be criticized after the election.
He's doing exactly what he really needs to do based on the fact that he testified in front of Congress that the investigation was closed. And because he's reopening the investigation, he needed to tell people he was reopening the investigation.
They are furious that this came 11 days before Election Day. This was a total bombshell to this campaign at the highest levels, David. They found out about this along with everyone else today.
Former FBI agent Stephen Moore says FBI Director James Comey was stuck between a rock and a hard place when he rocked the campaign with the big announcement. Moore spent 25 years with the FBI.
You cannot open a case by law in the FBI. I was a supervisor. I opened and closed the cases. You cannot open it unless there is a reasonable indication that the person has committed a crime.
Remember, there are likely thousands of emails to sort through.
This is a man of great integrity. According to everybody, he's not partisan, and yet he broke protocol. So doesn't it lead you to believe that maybe there's a problem?
When he wrote that letter on Friday, they had not seen these emails. They had not read these emails. So he had no way of knowing what the facts were.
He's not partisan.
Oh, no. Let me make one thing clear. The only reason Jim Comey came out with that 10 days before the election, the emails on the dirtbag server is because NYPD was going to out him. NYPD said, if you don't open an investigation on this pedophile with these photos, then we're going to the press. And Jim Comey did it to cover himself.
You saw a little bit of James Comey's wife, Patrice, a passionate Hillary Clinton supporter.
He's not partisan.
One day after President Trump is sworn in, hundreds of thousands of demonstrators take to the streets, among them the wife and daughters of FBI Director James Comey.
He's not partisan.
About this, your wife, Patrice, Hillary Clinton supporter.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't take a poll among all the kids, but I'm pretty sure that at least my 4 daughters, probably all 5 of my kids, wanted Hillary Clinton to be the first woman president.
He's not partisan.
I wanted a woman president really badly, and I supported Hillary Clinton. A lot of my friends worked for her, and I was devastated when she lost.
He's not partisan.
And I have a bias. I know I have a bias because I love my husband and I trust him.
Hillary Clinton has not yet commented on the letter released by the FBI director 7 hours ago, what appears to be the last word from the FBI investigation of Secretary Clinton's email. FBI Director James Comey sent a follow-up letter. The FBI investigative team has been working around the clock to process and review a large volume of emails from a device obtained in connection with an unrelated criminal investigation. During that process, we reviewed all of the communications that were to or from Hillary Clinton while she was Secretary of State. Based on our review, we have not changed our conclusions that we expressed in July with respect to Secretary Clinton. NBC News Justice correspondent Pete Williams.
All they're saying is, all we looked at here were whether there were problems with new classified documents that we didn't know about, and what the FBI director says is that doesn't change the bottom line. What I am told is they concluded that there was no substantial change here that require them to rethink the prosecution.
And Pete, the Trump campaign tonight saying absolutely impossible to search 650,000 emails in a week.
I guess it depends on how you do it.
Despite what James Comey said, the FBI failed to look at the vast majority of the emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop, which had thousands of Hillary Clinton's State Department emails on it. Tell me what you found out now about the reality.
That's right. So James Comey told Congress that they had reviewed all of the Clinton emails, hundreds of thousands that were found on the Weiner laptop.
And the team also told me we cannot finish this work before the election. And then they worked night after night after night, and they found thousands of new emails. They found classified information on Anthony Weiner. Somehow, her emails are being forwarded to Anthony Weiner, including classified information by her assistant, Huma Abedin. And so they found thousands of new emails, and then called me the Saturday night before the election and said, thanks to the wizardry of our technology, we've only had to personally read 6,000. We think we can finish tomorrow morning, Sunday. And so I met with them. And they said, we found a lot of new stuff. We did not find anything that changes our view of her intent. So we're in the same place we were in July. It hasn't changed our view. And I asked them lots of questions. And I said, okay, if that's where you are, then I also have to tell Congress that we're done.
The only reason Jim Comey went out and mouthed off is because the Southern District NYPD was going to turn him in for not doing anything on that laptop of the dirtbag pervert Anthony Weiner.
James Comey told Congress that they had reviewed all of the Clinton emails, hundreds of thousands.
An unrelated criminal investigation. During that process, we reviewed all of the communications that were to or from Hillary Clinton while she was Secretary of State.
That they had reviewed all of the Clinton emails, hundreds of thousands found on the Weiner laptop, but that was not true. They barely looked at any of them. Just 3,000 out of 700,000 were actually individually examined.
Wait. They looked at how many?
3,000 out of potentially relevant 700,000 emails were actually individually examined for classified information and incriminating evidence.
Thanks to the wizardry of our technology.
And Pete, the Trump campaign tonight saying absolutely impossible to search 650,000 emails in a week.
I guess it depends on how you do it. They already had a database of all the emails that were found during all the months that led up to the Director Comey's announcement in July. They could compare that using a program called deduping, to deduplicate, to find out which were not duplicates.
Thanks to the wizardry of our technology.
Program called deduping, to deduplicate, to find out which were not duplicates.
3,000 out of potentially relevant 700,000 emails were actually individually examined for classified information and incriminating evidence.
I mean, it did shock us, right? It was days. They told us they're looking into this, and then days later, they somehow reviewed 700,000 documents.
But the task of figuring out which are hers, what time frame, that could be done relatively quickly with an automated system. And it's an automated system as well that did most of this work. So that's the FBI's answer to how did they do it so relatively fast.
That's right. It was days. They told us they're looking into this, and then days later, they somehow reviewed 700,000 documents. How many people actually were, do you have any idea how many people were actually working on this case?
Pete, do we have any sense of the number of emails that the FBI actually had to take a closer look at? We have this, somewhere we got the notion that there's 650,000 total.
3,000 out of potentially relevant 700,000 emails were actually individually examined.
We don't know how many of those belong to Anthony Weiner. Right. They looked at only those that were to or from Secretary Clinton. Do we have any idea what the number was of those?
No, they have not given us that detail.
3,000 out of potentially relevant 700,000 emails were actually individually examined.
And Pete, do you have any sense that today's letter was in any sense rushed by Director Comey because of the pressure he'd been experiencing?
Peter Strzok, the disgraced agent who was in charge of this mid-year investigation of the Clinton emails, he actually personally handpicked that 3,000 sample, and with two other investigators, they went through them all supposedly and pulled an all-nighter, ordered pizza, and said nothing new here, case closed once again.
I think whatever pressure that they were working under was self-imposed. I think after they sent the letter to Congress 2 Fridays ago, they have always wanted to try to get whatever answer they could before Election Day. What they told us repeatedly is, if by Tuesday we can't give you the final score, we're not going to give you a partial.
3,000 out of potentially relevant 700,000 emails were actually individually examined for classified information.
They would only say something if they were done, but they did try to get it done quickly and thoroughly.
Pulled an all-nighter, ordered pizza, and said, nothing new here.
Here's how Donald Trump reacted to the news tonight.
Hillary Clinton is the most corrupt person ever to seek the office of the presidency of the United States. Right now, she is being protected by a rigged system. It's a totally rigged system. I've been saying it for a long time. You can't review 650,000 new emails in 8 days. You can't do it, folks. Hillary Clinton is guilty. She knows it. The FBI knows it. The people know it.
I mean, how can that be anything other than the director of the FBI lying to Congress and misleading us?
Well, he also swore under oath that he had this story that there was this miraculous breakthrough in technology that allowed the FBI to process the Wiener laptop for evidence rapidly. And turns out that doesn't pass the smell test.
They found thousands of new emails and then called me the Saturday night before the election and said, thanks to the wizardry of our technology, we've only had to personally read 6,000.
That doesn't pass the smell test. That didn't check out either. It turns out there was a technical glitch that thwarted that effort.
We were always scratching our heads in Congress. The fact that you've unveiled this, it creates more legal jeopardy, I think, for James Comey, and it really is a shocking revelation that not only did they use Peter Strzok to look at that information with his hand-picked people, and they, ordered late-night pizza. But come on, the disgraced Peter Strzok at this point, that makes absolutely no sense.
The whole thing raises more suspicion that the FBI politicized these investigations during the election, and it just begs for an outside independent prosecutor to go back through this evidence, through these emails, and see if the FBI was trying to cover up material evidence in this case.
Oh, yeah. I am your voice.
Trump won. I mean, he's going to win this. He won. That's how history will remember what went on here.